Okay, so we're going to look at using symbols in height just to create little animations within the timeline which can be used for buttons and interactivity. So here's an example of something that we might make. So here we have a set of images that operate as a rollover, and then on click there's a sound and a new scene. And it's fairly straightforward to make, and symbols are quite good for doing this sort of thing. So if you just look in here, you can see that we've got a little symbol library. We can go in here and say new symbol. We can also create stuff on the timeline and then convert it to a symbol. So I'll just use a new document here, new pipe document. Now you remember to import images, we can just go to image in the elements menu, and here I've got some pre-selected images that I'm going to use as a visual button. So I can open these and they'll just come into the library element here and be stored ready to use. Okay, I'm just going to line them up here so that they're all correctly aligned. Okay, and there we go. So all we're going to do is to sort of tell the timeline to activate each of these images as we roll over and do stuff. Now here I've got a standard timeline, so main timeline is here. You can see I've got 3 layers. If I'm working on something and I want to create a symbol from these 3 layers, I can do. I just shift click each layer, use Control, and then convert to symbol, or right click. And you'll now see that I have a little symbol item in the timeline with a little puzzle piece which matches this here. And if I double click that symbol, you'll see the timeline changes, and this is kind of crucial because this can be missed. So we get a little symbol bar up here in purple that tells us we're now working inside that symbol, and this is the symbols timeline. So if I close this, you'll see I have timeline with the symbol on it. This is the main timeline. If I go in here, I've got the symbol timeline, and this can work independently. So this is the important thing, it can run independently of the main timeline. So what we'd like to do is to actually just kind of say, okay, I'm just going to rearrange this. So this is the static state, this is the over state. So you can see I've labeled these buttons static, over, and press. So what I want to happen is when someone comes to this button, for instance, this is its static state, how it appears first on the screen. When we roll over it, mouse goes in there, it changes like this. And then when we click, it goes to this. So there are 3 key states here. And what we do to make that happen is we just tell the timeline to bump along in the timeline here and show a different frame for each state. So I'll show you how to do that now. So if we just go into this top part here, you can see I can change the timeline to zoom in and zoom out. And so what we actually want to do is just to jump forward essentially 1 frame and to hide the top layer and show the bottom. Okay, so just with this here, we can go back into our element inspector, just here. I'm going to say the top state is visible. Then if I jump forward 1 frame, I'll just record that, jump forward 1 frame, it goes to hidden. Okay. So 1 frame, it'll jump forward, go to hidden, and show me this is layer 2 now, this is the overstate. Okay. So with this layer here, this is visible obviously. Stays visible at this point. I'm just going to jump forward a further frame here to make frame 2 hidden. What I've got here is 3 frame jump. When we click on it, and I'll explain how this works in a minute. So when we roll over, jump forward 1 frame, this becomes invisible. Then when we press on it, jump forward another frame, the bottom layer, the press layer, is visible. So that's our sort of rollover state, if you like, 3 states. Okay. So how do we get this to work? So what we need to do is to sort of have some particular points in the timeline that allow us to control what's visible. So we need timeline actions and what we call keyframes. And then we need to then link these up to the actions panel to let you remember in here to allow us to sort of use this actions panel to control the timeline and show the various states at various points, which we'll do next.